Greetings, everyone. Welcome to our first lecture in community health nursing. And I want to believe that you are healthy and you're looking forward to learn new things in this lecture. Before we get into the content of the lecture, I would like us to share something. In the comment section below, I would love you to share your thoughts about nursing. And the question that you are going to answer is why did you choose nursing if you are already in the field? And if not yet, then just tell us, why do you think nursing is good? Yeah, I will be reading the comments one by one and replying to them. All right, in this lesson, we are going to talk about concepts of community health nursing, and our objective will be to discuss the basic concepts in community health nursing by use of various definitions. Now, in this lesson, basically, we are going to have words that we are going to define, and in that process, we will be tackling the concepts of community health nursing. So on the introduction part, we will start with the word community. Now, different people have defined community differently, and that is based on how they understand it. But as we are going to have a standardized definition that is broadly acceptable by many. And the first definition of a community is a collection of people who interact with one another and whose common interest or characteristics gives them a sense of unity and belonging. Now, in this definition, we are given important parts like for you to have it as a community, there must be a collection of people. And then these people are interacting together. And as they interact, they normally have a common interest. They want to get something together. They want to be served something. They want to get a service together, and they also they also have a characteristics in common, which gives them a sense of unity and belonging. They think that we belong to a certain group of people, yeah, because they have something in common with the others. They think they belong to them. And then the second definition is a group of people in a defined geographical area with a common goal and objective and the potential for interacting with one another. It's almost similar in the way it's a definition that is almost similar. But now here we have added something called geographical area, or we have added geographical area. So these people are located in a particular place and they still have a common goal or interest and objective, or what to achieve, and they actually interact with one another. This is according to someone called Dryersden. Next, so you will find out that there are people, or there are a group of people who are situated in a particular place, in a particular location. So these people, they fall under a category of community, or the type of community called geographic community. They are defined by the geographical boundaries, So example, people who live in a particular city, a particular town, or a neighborhood is a geographic community. And then we also have another type of community called the common interest community. And this particular type of community is whereby they are defined by, they are brought together by what they are interested in, what they want to achieve. So these people are called common interest community. And an example, let me use an example of students in school. Yeah, these people are gathered in school with an interest of achieving academic success, and they now become a community of learners, a community of common interest. Now, another example is that we can have people who have a particular health need, like let's say lame people or crippled. So these people will normally have a common interest of getting an improved wheelchair. Yeah, so this is also a community of common interest. Now, under features of community, or this topic, features of community, this is simply a characteristic of a community. Yeah, there are three main characteristics of a community. For you to say that this is a community, one, they need to have a location, or a common location. So every community, every physical community, it carries out its daily existence in a specific geographical location. And the health of this particular community is normally affected by this location. For example, people who live in dry areas, they tend to suffer famine most of the time. And because one of the health requirements of a human body is a healthy diet, these people tend to be malnourished. They tend to have muscle wasting. Yeah. So a community must have a location. Number two, population. So under community, there is a specialized aggregates or individuals inside that community that brings up the population. So population simply means people inside the community, people who live inside that community. For example, we have, this population can have different characteristics also. We can have them based on gender, based on age, So this is population. And then also, for it to be a community, there is a set of social systems, and this is simply the various parts of a community that interact, and they usually determine the wellness of a community. Yeah. And the first social system is the health system. The health system will always ensure that a particular community, the individuals inside that community, are healthy or they are well. And then we have family system, which ensures the continuity of that particular community. And then we have economic system, which ensures the livelihoodness, the income sources of this particular community or individuals inside that community. And then education, which ensures that the education system, which ensures that the community is well informed, its people are well informed, they are knowledgeable in a particular area or in various areas. Now, moving on, let's discuss the second term, which is health. And if I may ask you now, what is health, you will definitely give me your definition based on what you understand, what you expect about being about your well-being. So here we are going to have a definition that is standardized and approved by experts. So the definition here is that health is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Most people tend to believe that when you are healthy, then that means you are free from diseases, you are free from danger, you are free from injuries, you are free from hazards, but it is something deeper than that. You must be healthy in all dimensions, in the physical aspect, in the mental aspect, in the social well-being. And health, in its holistic philosophy, it differs greatly from that of the acute care settings. And when we talk about acute care settings, we are simply referring to hospitals. So let's discuss briefly part of the definition of health. And physical health implies a mechanistic functioning of the body. This is where now this person is free from injury. Yeah, he does not suffer any injury on the body. He is clean. Yeah, we can confidently say that this person is physically healthy. And then the second one is mental health, which means the ability to think clearly and coherently, and has to do with your thinking and feeling and how you deal with your problems. So if you're stressed, if you have a lot of thoughts, if you have a lot of things that are bringing you under mental pressure, then you are not healthy. And then, so a mentally healthy person has a capacity to live with other people, to understand their needs, and to achieve mutually satisfying relationships. And then social health, this refers to the ability to make and maintain relationship with others, ability to interact well with the people and the environment. So you can be socially sick, yeah. If you are that person who can't make friends or who do not have any friends, you are probably sick in your social perspective. Now, the other term that we are going to discuss or to define is wellness. And what is wellness? So, this is a lifestyle that is aimed at achieving physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and environmental well-being. So, wellness, yeah, being okay, being comfortable, being at an optimum satisfaction with life. Yeah. So the use of wellness measures can increase stamina, can increase energy and self-esteem, and these together will enhance the quality of life. So it can increase stamina. That means you are okay, you're feeling very fine, yeah. So your quality of life is simply enhanced, you are doing well. So the concept of wellness also allows for individual variability. Yeah, we get different people with the different capabilities. Yeah, we have those ones who are educationally well, they are physically well, and we get those ones that are socially well. So these variabilities, yeah, it's all about the wellness. And then wellness can be thought of a balance of the physical, emotional, psychological, social, and spiritual aspects of personal life. This is a dynamic state. Yeah, you get it. It's very hard, by the way, to get a person who has a balance in all these areas: physically, emotionally, psychologically, socially, spiritually. It's very difficult to get a person who has achieved the balance in all this. So it's a dynamic state, it keeps on moving. You can get at a point where you are physically healthy, and then you also get at a point whereby the physical uh, part of you is not good, and then the emotional part is good. It's something dynamic. So each person will define wellness in relation to personal expectations. Now, because I go to church, I'm socially I'm socially well, but now this person is not having any friend. Yeah, so because you're expecting that being in church you are now socially well, you tend to think you are well. So wellness behaviors are those that promote healthy functioning, and they help prevent illnesses. So wellness behaviors, yeah, you can mention them. There are many wellness behavior: going to church, yeah, going to school, reading books, yeah. All these, there are so many that can promote health functioning and help you prevent illnesses. So these include, for example, stress management, nutritional awareness, and physically fitness. So these are all wellness behaviors. Stress management will always ensure that you're physically, you're socially, you are psychologically, you are mentally well, you are free from diseases, illnesses, you are healthy. Now let's look at modes of health. Yeah, models of health, sorry. So models of health, this is where we are going to discuss determinants of health. How are you going to how are we going to arrive at a point whereby we can now say that health is this, yeah, this person is sick, and what actually that means, so there are various models of the concept of health, and some of these models are based on the presence or absence of definable illness, whereas others are based more conceptually on health beliefs, wellness, and holism. So these models are clinical model, host agent environment model, health belief model, high level wellness model, and holistic level health model. Now we start with the clinical model, which was this is the model that was worked on by somebody called Dunn in the year 1961. And in this model, health is seen as an absence of signs and symptoms of a disease or injury, and thus disease as the opposite of health. So mostly in this model, it tells people that disease is simply being the opposite of health. So when somebody is free from or is free from signs and symptoms of a disease or injury, this person is healthy. That's according to this model. So Dunn defined health as a relatively passive state of freedom from illness and condition of relative homeostasis or balance. So illness is therefore something that happens to a person. It happens to you. You can not have it now, or you can have it. Yeah, it is something that happens to you. And then many healthy care providers believe that the absence of signs and symptoms of a disease is a perfect conclusion that the person is healthy. You can agree with me that this is really what is happening in the health care settings. Yeah. So in simple terms, the clinical model tells us that when you are when signs and symptoms of a particular disease or injury is absent, then you are healthy. Yeah. And the opposite of being healthy is simply being sick or having a disease. That is what this model is telling us. So this model may not take into consideration person's health beliefs or person's lifestyle. We have people who believe that being sick comes from evil spirits. And as you can see, this model is not considering any of that. Now the second model is the host agent environment. And in this diagram, as you can see, there is an interaction between these three. And a person, for him to get a disease, yeah, or to be sick, or to be unhealthy, these three must interact. Yeah. So this was done by Level in 1965, and its content is that so we can look at these three briefly. And the first one, which is a host, refers to a person or a group who may be at risk or who may be susceptible to an illness. Yeah, it's me and you. Yeah, we get a mosquito, then we get sick. So host simply means that person or that animal or that group of people who are at risk of getting a disease or getting ill. Yeah. And then agent is any factor, it can be internal or external, that can lead to illness by its presence. An example of an agent is like a mosquito. Yeah, that's an external agent. A mosquito can bring to you the Plasmodium species of malaria, and then you get sick. That is an agent. And an environment, this is where by now all this is happening. Yeah, these are factors that and can be physical, social, economic, or emotional, or spiritual, that may create the likelihood or predisposition for the person to develop disease. And if I can discuss this, let's talk about some culture which falls under social. You get some culture not allowing you to eat a particular food, and maybe that particular food has been proven to be proteinous or to be full of protein, and then that particular social setup is not allowing you to do that. You end up being malnourished or suffering from problems with less proteins in the body, which you will end up having poor wound healing, yeah, no bodybuilding, you see. So as you can see, there must be a host, which is a person or that group of people, and there must be an agent, and there must be an environment where this thing is interacting, where this thing is happening, yeah, so that illness can happen. So basically, this model, this model helps us to identify the cause of an illness. Yeah, it helps us to also understand how it happens. So in this model, health and illness depends on the interaction of the three factors. These three factors must interact for an illness to occur. Otherwise, the illness will not occur. Hope we are together up to that point. And the third model is the health belief model. Yeah, what you believe about health. This was done by Rosenstock in 1974. And it was modified by Stone in 1994. So there is a relationship between a person's belief and actions. Yeah, if you believe that eating pork is not healthy, or if you believe that taking milk is not healthy, then probably you will not take it and you will fall sick because you are lacking protein in the body, and at the end of the day, you will require treatment. So factors that influence person's belief, one is the personal expectation in relation to health and illness. Like what this person is expecting. Yeah, is he really considering being healthy? Yeah, or not? I mean, where a person is don't care. Yeah. And then the second factor is earlier experience with an illness or health. So the person got sick because he or she took a lot of alcohol. So the next time when he thinks about alcohol, he feels like, no, this one is not going to be good for me, so I will not take it. I want to be healthy, So this person believes that taking alcohol will predispose him to being sick, and thus he will take an appropriate action. And then age and development. Age, yeah, you get that most old people will normally refuse to eat because they believe, yeah, there's some culture that are very dangerous. So a person is old and he believes that when a disease happens to her, it's because of that age. Yeah, when he's no longer healthy, believe that it's because of age. Also, they tend to suffer from diseases diseases like Alzheimer, which makes them forget things, and because they forget things, their health becomes at a stake. Now, health beliefs are person's ideas, convictions, and attitudes about health and illness. This according to this model. So they may be based on factual information, misinformation, common sense, or myths, or reality, or false expectations. So these beliefs normally can be true, or can just be a misinformation, or can be their common sense. Yeah, if I touch fire, then I'm going to burn. That is a common sense. Yeah. I heard that when you take bang, you escape from having stress. Yeah, that's a misinformation, you know. So health beliefs usually influence health behavior. This influence can be positive or negative based on if that information that this person is sharing is a fact, is a misinformation, a common sense, or a myth. So health belief model address relationship between persons' belief and behavior, and provides a way of understanding and predicting how how clients will behave in relation to their health and how they will comply with the healthcare therapies. Yeah, you can get people telling you, no, you can't inject me because if you inject me, our culture does not allow that. I may die. You see. Now, what are the components in health belief model? There are components in this belief model, and the first component is which is individual perception. Yeah, individual perception of susceptibility to illness. Yeah, family like with coronary health disease, after a link is recognized, particularly if one parent or both siblings have died in the fourth decade from myocardial infarction. So you will get that these people you will get that these people will now start thinking that they will all suffer from myocardial infection, and the farther they can live, or the longer they can live, is just the fourth decade. And then the second component, that is modifying factors. So individuals' perception of the seriousness of the illness. Yeah, this is where now, how does this individual take, how serious do they take about this particular illness? So the perception is influenced and modified by demographic and social psychological variables, perceived threat of the illness, and cues to an action. Yeah, so here is just whereby this person says, no, this will go on its own because somebody, yeah, because somebody had it and this is what he did, you know. And the third component is the likelihood of action. So the likelihood that the person will take preventive action results from the person's perception of the benefits of and barriers to taking action. So the preventive action may include lifestyle modification, change, increased adherence to medical therapies, or search for medical advice. Yeah, or search for medical advice. Now, what are the implications of this health belief model to nursing? What does it tell us? Yeah, so this model helps us as nurses to understand factors that influences clients: one, perception of health; two, beliefs; three, behaviors; and plan care that will most effectively assist client in maintaining or restoring health and preventive illnesses. Yeah, it tells us that different people have different beliefs about what causes their illness, what is happening in their body, and uh, we can be able to come up with a very effective way of handling them. And the fourth the fourth model is the high-level wellness model, which was also done by Dan. So according to Dan, health is recognized as an ongoing process toward the person's highest potential functioning. So this process involves the person, family, and community. Dan described high-level wellness as the experience of the person alive with the glow of good health, alive to the tips of their fingers, with energy to burn and tinkling with vitality. At times like these, the world is a glorious place. So here, according to Dan, in this model, he's just telling us that the person is striving to get better, to get the best out of it. And in the process, that is when he gets well, or he gets an illness. Yeah. And the fifth and the last model is the holistic health model. So holism is seen as new model of health, but actually it is not new at all. Holism has been a major theme in the humanities, Western political tradition and major religions throughout history. So holism is a different approach to health in that it acknowledges and respects the interaction of person's mind, body, and spirit within the environment. So this one is where it tells us that while approaching a client, a sick person, don't just look at the disease. Look at everything that is related to this person, from the mind, the body, the spirit, the social aspect of this person. Like, look at everything. Look at it in a broader way. Because this person may be sick because maybe he ate a bad food from a neighbor, So holism is derived from a Greek word holos, which means wall, and was first used by South African philosopher called Jan Christian Smuts in 1926 in Holism and Evolution. So Smuts viewed holism as an antidote to the optimistic approach of contemporary science. Yeah, then the science will just think of a disease as, of health as, or being sick as just having a disease. Yeah, but now Smuts came with an antidote that will work against and prevent such belief. So an optimistic approach takes things apart, examining the person piece by piece in an attempt to understand the larger picture by examining the smaller molecule of an atom. I don't know if you are getting this. It simply means you're looking at this client wholly. You are not leaving anything behind. You're looking at the person, environment, everything about him or her. Now, holistic health model, so holism is based on the belief that people or even their parts cannot be fully understood if examined solely in pieces apart from their environment. So people are seen as every changing system of energy. So there is an environment, as you can see from this picture. There's an environment, and then there is body of the person, there is his spirit and the mind and environment. So for you to get now the body, spirit, and the mind is just one person, and he is under an environment that must be examined. And as you examine the person, you must start from the environment, then the body, the spirit, and mind. That is when you'll be able to get the underlying causes of the person's problem. So in brevity, let's discuss the health and illness. So rather than focusing on curing illnesses, community-based nursing care focuses on promoting health and preventing illness. This holistic philosophy, therefore, differs greatly from that of the acute care settings. Improvement of health is not seen as an outcome of the amount and type of medical services or the size of the hospital. Care provided in acute care setting is usually directed at resolving immediate health problems. Now, as community health nurses, we normally work towards promoting health. We don't advocate for having a disease first before we work. No, we work at ensuring that the disease will not happen. Yeah, that is what we are guided with. we just ensure that an illness, an injury will not happen. Yeah, this is different from an acute setting or hospital care. This is whereby the disease is already there, so the attention is directed to alleviating it. So in the community, care focuses on maximizing individual potential for self-care regardless of an injury or illness. The client assumes responsibility for health care decisions and care provision. Whether health is the essence of care, the client's ability to function becomes the primary concern. So the individuals in the community are usually empowered to be the care of themselves. Yeah, and this is done through programs like health education. So educational and community-based programs can be designed to address lifestyle. Health protection strategies relate to environmental or regulatory measures that confer protection on large population groups. So health protection involves a community-wide focus. Preventive services include counseling, screening, immunization, or chemoprophylactic interventions for individuals in clinical settings. So the prevention focus is a key concept of community-based nursing. Prevention, that is a key focus. Prevention is conceptualized on 3 levels, according to a nurse called Betty Newman. Betty Newman said that there are 3 levels of prevention, and the first one is the primary prevention level. In this level, it addresses that the disease, it ensures that the disease does not occur completely. Yeah, it ensures that individuals are well informed about how a disease occurs, and they need to apply the necessary actions to prevent it. And then the secondary prevention level, this is whereby there is an early detection of a disease and also treatment if seen. Yeah, and then the third level is whereby now the person's health is tried to be brought back to a more enhanced health state, a better health state. Otherwise, the problem is there and has been there for a very long time. So things like rehabilitation will normally be under tertiary prevention. Now, thank you for coming along with me to this far, and I want to believe that under the concepts of community health nursing, you have learned something new. You have learned the definition of a community, you have learned the definition of health, wellness, yes, and the models. So in case of any questions, I will encourage you to drop them down on the comment section, and we will look into each of them in the coming time. Other questions we will be addressing in the subsequent lessons, at the beginning of subsequent lessons. Otherwise, up to this point, I would really encourage you to go further and look at this lesson that we have discussed today, and then get a wide information. So see you in the next lesson, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful stay.